No one had ever seen a force like him. Towering at 7 feet tall and nearly 500 pounds, he left WCW as the Giant, hungry to become an unlimited monster. And in 1999, he stormed into WWE. At St. Valentine's Day Massacre, he crashed through the ring, taking down Steve Austin and showing Vince McMahon the unstoppable power he had unleashed. Every move he made was a warning. This was a competitor unlike any other. Within his first year, he captured the WWE Championship, cementing his place as one of the most dominant figures in wrestling history. With a single, devastating KO punch, he could turn the tide of any match in an instant. He is Big Show, the living giant who redefined what it means to be unstoppable.
Well, it's a big show.
A child was born who would defy everything the world thought possible. Paul Donald White Jr. entered the quiet town of Aiken, South Carolina on February 8, 1972, and from the very beginning he grew faster, larger, and stronger than anyone around him. While other children struggled to fill their shoes, he was outgrowing every desk, every bed, every piece of clothing his parents could find. By the age of 12, he stood over 6 feet tall and weighed more than 200 pounds. His size wasn't just extraordinary, it was alarming. Doctors soon gave it a name, acromegaly, a rare disorder caused by excess growth hormone. The diagnosis explained the height, the hands that could palm a basketball like it was a coin, the voice that sounded older than it should. But it didn't explain the confidence. Paul wasn't withdrawn or embarrassed by his size. He leaned into it. He had humor, charisma, and a way of turning heads not just because of how he looked, but because of how he carried himself. Teachers remembered him as larger than life in every way. The kind of kid who could make an entire class laugh one moment and dominate on the basketball court the next. Sports became his outlet. In high school, he was unstoppable. On the basketball team, he towered over everyone. On the football field, he was a wall of muscle and raw power. Scouts noticed. After graduation, he earned a spot at Wichita State University, where his size became both an advantage and a burden. Standing well over 7 feet tall, he drew constant attention. Fans filled arenas just to see him move, not because he was a star, but because they couldn't believe someone that massive could be that agile. But even as the college games went on, something inside him was restless. The structure of team sports never quite fit him. He wasn't just an athlete, he was a performer. He liked being in front of people, hearing the noise, feeling the reaction. When the basketball dream faded, he drifted into the real world, working whatever jobs he could find. He sold cars. He answered phones for a company that sold telephone systems. He worked as a bouncer at bars, where his presence alone kept order. Every night, strangers asked the same question: "Have you ever thought about wrestling?" The question stuck with him. He'd grown up watching the legends: Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Ric Flair. He admired the spectacle, the energy, the drama of it all. And deep down, he saw himself in it. Not just as a big man, but as someone meant to entertain. That door opened by accident in 1994. Paul was working security at a celebrity charity basketball game in Chicago when he met Danny Bonaduce, the former child actor known for his wild personality. Bonaduce couldn't take his eyes off him, a 7-foot security guard who looked like he belonged in a comic book. The two got talking. Bonaduce, who knew people in the wrestling business, mentioned Paul to Hulk Hogan, then one of WCW's top stars. Hogan agreed to meet him. That meeting changed everything. Hogan saw in Paul what every promoter dreams of finding: size, power, and presence wrapped in charm. He wasn't just big, he was magnetic. Hogan recommended him to WCW executives, setting in motion a process that would soon turn the man from Aiken into a global spectacle. Before the lights and cameras, though, came the grind. Hogan connected him with Larry Sharp's Monster Factory, a brutal wrestling school in New Jersey that specialized in training men of power. There, Paul learned the language of wrestling: how to fall, how to hit, how to sell, and most importantly, how to perform. Every day left him bruised and sore, but he absorbed everything. Sharp saw a rare combination: a man built like a tank, but light on his feet. He could throw a drop kick, he could move faster than men half his size. When word spread through WCW that Hogan's new recruit was ready, the company moved fast. They wanted something that felt mythical. In 1995, they crafted a character that would echo wrestling's most sacred legacy: the Giant, the supposed son of Andre the Giant. It was risky. Andre was a legend, untouchable in wrestling history, but WCW wanted that connection, and Paul looked the part. 7 feet tall, broad shoulders, a face that mirrored Andre's quiet intensity. When he signed his first WCW contract in mid-1995, Paul White wasn't just joining a wrestling company, he was entering the heart of the Monday Night Wars. WCW, fueled by Ted Turner's millions and the creative force of Eric Bischoff, was going head-to-head with Vince McMahon's WWF. The company needed attractions, characters that could capture headlines, and Paul was perfect for it. His first few weeks inside the organization were overwhelming. Television lights, cameras, the noise of production, the presence of legends, Flair, Sting, Hogan, Nash, men whose names he'd grown up hearing. He was the rookie among giants, yet somehow he still looked like the biggest man in the room. WCW put him through promo rehearsals, character workshops, and endless meetings. The plan was clear. He would debut as the Giant, a monster who stepped out of myth and straight into the modern ring. Behind closed doors, there were doubts. Some veterans questioned his experience. Others worried he'd been pushed too fast. But every time he stepped into the ring, those doubts started to fade. He was raw, yes, but he had something that couldn't be taught: presence. He didn't have to say a word to make people look. The way he walked, the way the ring seemed to shrink under his feet, the way he could lift an opponent like a rag doll, it all spoke louder than any promo could. In training sessions, he studied constantly. He watched tapes of Andre. He mimicked his movements, his calm control, the way Andre's silence was its own kind of threat. But Paul also brought something new: speed, agility, emotion. He wasn't just a giant. He was a new kind of big man. By late 1995, WCW was ready to unleash him. The debut would come at Halloween Havoc, one of the company's biggest events of the year. The story was set. The Giant, the heir to Andre's legacy, would confront Hulk Hogan, the biggest name in professional wrestling. In just one night, a rookie who had never competed on television would challenge the most famous wrestler alive. He wasn't just tall. He looked otherworldly, like a myth come to life. Opposite him stood Hulk Hogan, the face of professional wrestling for over a decade. The story was clear: the supposed heir to Andre the Giant's legacy facing the man who once conquered the legend. It was spectacle against superstardom, a test of size, presence, and belief. The night began with chaos even before the bell rang. Earlier on the card, Hogan and the Giant faced off in a sumo monster truck match on the roof of Detroit's Cobo Hall. In a shocking stunt, the Giant appeared to fall from the roof, only to reappear later, seemingly unscathed for the main event. Smoke filled the arena as he entered for the title match, adding to the surreal atmosphere. Hogan played the defiant hero, the Giant, the silent storm. For someone wrestling his first televised match, Paul White moved with surprising confidence. Each strike landed with weight, every movement deliberate. When Hogan tried to overpower him, the Giant tossed him across the ring to gasps from the crowd, a true display of power. The ending was pure WCW drama. Amid interference from Jimmy Hart, the Dungeon of Doom, and referee confusion, the Giant defeated Hogan by disqualification. Because of a hidden clause in Hogan's contract, added by Hart, the title could change hands on a disqualification. As a result, the Giant was briefly declared WCW World Heavyweight Champion in his debut match. It was an unprecedented moment in modern wrestling, though the title was vacated the next night on Nitro due to the controversy. WCW had found its monster. For months afterward, the Giant was booked as an unstoppable force. He feuded with top stars like Randy Savage, Sting, Ric Flair, and Lex Luger, and his devastating chokeslam became one of wrestling's most feared finishing moves. Despite his size, he showcased rare agility, even performing drop kicks and surprising leaps that defied expectations for a 7-footer. Behind the scenes, Paul was still learning. His rise was meteoric, but he was expected to perform like a seasoned veteran. Matches came quickly and storylines shifted weekly. At times he was a villain, other times a reluctant hero. WCW's creative team often changed direction, but one thing remained consistent. Whenever the Giant appeared, the crowd reacted. His sheer presence made everything feel larger than life. In 1996, WCW changed forever. When Hulk Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach, forming the New World Order, NWO, with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, professional wrestling entered a new era. Initially, the Giant opposed the NWO, standing as WCW's enforcer against the Outsiders. But by late 1996, he shockingly joined the faction, aligning with Hogan and embracing his role as one of their most intimidating members. The sight of a 7-foot monster in black and white made the group feel truly unstoppable. Within the NWO, the Giant became both muscle and message. When he entered the ring, destruction followed. His matches with Lex Luger and Sting were highlights of the era, not just for power displays, but for his ability to shift from monstrous villain to sympathetic figure in moments. Even when fans were meant to boo him, his charisma made that difficult. By 1997, tensions were brewing behind the scenes. White was frustrated with constant character changes and inconsistent storylines, yet his in-ring work never faltered. One of his most memorable moments came on WCW Monday Nitro when Lex Luger lifted the Giant into the torture rack, an image that remains one of WCW's defining visuals. Later that year, he feuded with the Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, for the WCW Tag Team Championships. During this period, he stunned audiences by landing a standing dropkick, a feat nearly unheard of for someone his size. However, as WCW's creative direction grew increasingly erratic, the Giant's momentum suffered. In 1998, he entered a feud with Bill Goldberg, whose undefeated streak was the company's hottest storyline. Their clashes were raw and physical, two giants colliding with explosive force. In one iconic moment, Goldberg executed a jackhammer on the Giant, lifting the 500-pound star clean off the mat. The crowd's reaction that night became one of the loudest in WCW history. Despite the loss, White earned respect for his performance and professionalism. Few could make Goldberg look that dominant while maintaining their own aura of strength. But as WCW descended into creative chaos, White's frustrations deepened. His character turned multiple times between hero and villain, often without explanation. The once dominant Giant was now part of convoluted NWO storylines and repetitive tag feuds. By late 1998, his patience was wearing thin. His contract was nearing its end, and negotiations with WCW stalled. Financial issues and backstage politics plagued the company. White felt undervalued both creatively and financially. Though still featured on television, his role had diminished. The energy that defined his early WCW years was fading. In January 1999, Paul White made the decision to leave WCW. He had become a star, but the company no longer offered the direction or stability he needed. The World Wrestling Federation, WWF, the organization he had admired growing up, offered a new beginning. Vince McMahon envisioned him not as the Giant, but as something greater. And so, in February 1999, without a farewell storyline or final send-off, Paul White quietly departed WCW. The ring that had once crowned him champion was behind him. Ahead lay a new world, one where he would become the Big Show, and eventually, one of the most enduring figures in professional wrestling history. February 1999 marked the arrival of a presence unlike any the WWE had seen. Paul White, towering over 7 feet, made his debut at St. Valentine's Day Massacre by emerging from beneath the ring to assist Vince McMahon against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Smoke rose as the crowd recoiled, and before anyone could react, Big Show delivered a thunderous chokeslam to Austin, establishing him immediately as an unstoppable force. Aligning with Mr. McMahon, he became the corporate enforcer, a living embodiment of the company's power, and his path to dominance began with dramatic impact and theatrical precision. Big Show's first major pay-per-view singles match came at Backlash 1999, where he faced Mankind in a brutal boiler room brawl. The setting was raw and unforgiving. Concrete floors, dim lighting, and scattered debris echoing the violence of the Attitude Era. Every stride, every strike, every slam felt deliberate. Big Show's immense frame dominated the narrow space, yet Foley's resilience refused to bend. Pipes clanged, walls shook, and the air filled with the sound of metal meeting flesh. The match wasn't just physical. It symbolized a war between corporate power and defiant rebellion. When Big Show unleashed a thunderous chokeslam onto the cold floor, it was less a victory and more a statement. The Giant had arrived, and he demanded respect. Months later, Big Show entered one of the most personal and shocking rivalries of his career, his feud with the Big Boss Man. What began as a battle for dominance turned deeply emotional when Boss Man cruelly mocked Big Show's family, culminating in one of WWE's most infamous moments, the funeral incident. As Big Show mourned the passing of his father, Big Boss Man and his accomplice Al Snow hijacked the funeral, chaining the coffin to a car and dragging it away as Big Show clung to it in disbelief. The segment blurred the line between fiction and cruelty, pushing the feud to an intensely personal level. The rivalry came to a violent head at Armageddon 1999, where Big Show's fury exploded in a short but decisive match. Every strike carried vengeance, and with one crushing chokeslam, Big Show ended the feud. A cathartic conclusion to one of the most twisted storylines of the Attitude Era. By SummerSlam 1999, Big Show had transitioned into tag team dominance, pairing with The Undertaker to face X-Pac and Kane for the WWF Tag Team Championships. The clash of styles, giants versus speedsters, created a thrilling dynamic. Big Show showcased deceptive agility for his size, hurling opponents with one arm, while The Undertaker methodically dissected the opposition. Key moments included double-team power moves, a mid-air chokeslam reversal, and a dramatic finishing sequence that sealed the victory and the titles. At Survivor Series 1999, Big Show's Raw dominance reached its peak. Facing 4 opponents, Big Boss Man, Mideon, Prince Albert, and Viscera, he annihilated them single-handedly, becoming the sole survivor. It was the culmination of a defining year, one that established Big Show as not just a spectacle of size, but a legitimate main event force capable of blending brutality with storytelling brilliance. Royal Rumble 2000 featured Big Show participating in the namesake Battle Royal. Each stride and strike carried weight as he attempted to dominate the field, though The Rock eventually eliminated him, creating dramatic tension and showcasing the Giant's power even in defeat. WrestleMania 2000 placed him in a 4-way WWE Championship match alongside Triple H, The Rock, and Mankind. In the chaos of the contest, Big Show executed chokeslams, bear hugs, and top rope maneuvers, while sprinkling in comedic impressions of his opponents to punctuate moments of levity. The match illustrated his unique ability to dominate physically, while engaging the audience with personality and theatricality. At No Way Out 2000, Big Show faced The Rock in a high-stakes singles match to determine the WrestleMania main event challenger. The Rock's speed and agility clashed with Big Show's overwhelming power, creating a tense back-and-forth battle. Each near fall raised the energy of the crowd, but the match ended in shocking fashion when Shane McMahon interfered, allowing Big Show to deliver a massive chokeslam for the decisive victory, a moment that showcased both dominance and controversy. The arrival of Brock Lesnar in the early 2000s set the stage for one of Big Show's most intense rivalries. Their feud culminated in a match at Survivor Series 2002, where unstoppable size met explosive athleticism. Lesnar delivered repeated German suplexes, each met with Big Show's resilience and massive counterstrikes. The audience roared with every near fall, aware that each moment teetered between devastation and triumph. After his feud with Brock Lesnar, Big Show shifted his focus to Kurt Angle. Big Show entered the ring at Armageddon to challenge Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship. The match showcased a clash of styles, Big Show's raw power against Angle's technical prowess. The battle swung back and forth, with Angle using every trick in the book, but Big Show's size and strength dominated large portions of the match. Despite a valiant effort, Angle managed to win, marking an important moment in Big Show's early WWE career. By 2004, Big Show faced a new challenge at WrestleMania 20, defending the United States Championship against the rising star John Cena. Big Show started strong, unleashing crushing blows and throws that shook the ring. Cena absorbed the punishment and strategically turned the match, ultimately delivering his FU to claim the United States Championship. The victory not only elevated Cena, but also highlighted Big Show's role in showcasing emerging talent while maintaining his own dominant presence. In 2005, Big Show stepped into a high-stakes match at No Way Out, facing John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, in a barbed wire steel cage contest for the WWE Championship. Both competitors delivered punishing moves, swinging momentum repeatedly. Though JBL retained the title, Big Show demonstrated his resilience and ability to make any match feel monumental. At Taboo Tuesday 2005, Kane and Big Show faced Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch for the World Tag Team Championship. Big Show dominated with powerful strikes, while Kane used high-impact teamwork. The duo executed a double-team chokeslam, overwhelming Cade and Murdoch, securing their first WWE Tag Team titles in a decisive, thrilling victory. After winning their first World Tag Team Championship at Taboo Tuesday 2005, Kane and Big Show entered Armageddon 2005 with unstoppable momentum, facing Rey Mysterio and Batista in a high-stakes tag team clash. Although the titles were not on the line, the match was a dramatic showcase of contrasting styles, Big Show's sheer power and Kane's agility against Mysterio's speed and Batista's strength. Big Show isolated Mysterio with crushing strikes, while Kane executed top rope maneuvers and synchronized double-team attacks. Near falls and suspenseful moments kept the crowd on edge, but Kane and Big Show ultimately triumphed, solidifying their dominance as one of WWE's most formidable tag teams of 2005. Through these matches from 2002 to 2005, Big Show evolved from a formidable singles competitor into a dominant force in both singles and tag team divisions, leaving a lasting mark on WWE history. By 2008, Big Show had become more than just a giant. He was a veteran whose presence defined the match before it even began. His feud with John Cena carried over from previous years and remained a defining storyline, though not at the Royal Rumble itself. That night, Cena made a surprise return, entering the Royal Rumble match at number 30 and eliminating Triple H to claim victory. Big Show, meanwhile, continued to assert his dominance in other matches, his massive strikes and calculated timing keeping audiences on edge. Every slam and punch was executed with suspense, demonstrating his ability to absorb offense and make victories feel earned, even when not directly involved with Cena. In WrestleMania 24, Big Show participated in a high-profile match against Floyd Mayweather Jr. From the opening sequences, Big Show used his massive frame to control the ring, intercepting punches and countering high-risk maneuvers. A climactic moment saw him lift Mayweather overhead, but the bout concluded with a knockout, showcasing the intersection of spectacle and storytelling. The crowd erupted at the dramatic tension, illustrating Big Show's ability to serve as both anchor and spectacle, even when the match outcome was against him. The bell rang at WWE Vengeance 2011 as Mark Henry and the Big Show faced off for the World Heavyweight Championship, and from the outset, it was a collision of titans. Henry, the reigning champion, immediately asserted his dominance with crushing strikes, his power evident as he cornered Big Show and delivered a series of punishing blows. Big Show absorbed the punishment, using his size and reach to counter, landing a massive punch that staggered Henry. Both men traded heavy chops and forearms, their sheer size shaking the ring with each impact. Henry hoisted Big Show for a massive bear hug, attempting to sap the giant's strength, but Big Show wriggled free and responded with a devastating chokeslam. The momentum swung back and forth as Henry delivered his signature world's strongest slam, only for Big Show to kick out, leaving the crowd in awe. At the apex of the contest, both men climbed the turnbuckles, aiming for high-impact top rope moves, but the sheer combined force caused the ring to collapse beneath them. The arena erupted as medical personnel rushed in, and the match was declared a no contest. Henry retained the title, but the rivalry was far from over, setting the stage for further confrontations. 2 years later, the ongoing feud with Randy Orton escalated in 2013. On May 19th at Extreme Rules, Orton and Big Show collided in a brutal encounter that highlighted Orton's cunning and Big Show's power. Orton targeted Big Show's legs, trying to neutralize the giant's mobility, while Big Show countered with crushing blows and a thunderous knockout punch. The match was hard-hitting, with Orton using his veteran instincts to evade the Big Show's most dangerous attacks, including a near chokeslam escape. Later that year at Survivor Series on November 24th, the stakes rose as Orton defended the WWE Championship against Big Show in the main event. Big Show dominated early, absorbing Orton's calculated strikes and responding with massive haymakers and a delayed chokeslam that nearly ended the contest. Orton survived, using his signature RKO out of nowhere to almost steal the victory. The crowd was on the edge of their seats as Big Show continued to assert his dominance, but Orton's resilience kept the match unpredictable until the closing moments, cementing their 2013 rivalry as one of the most physically intense in recent WWE history. At WrestleMania 29 on April 7th, 2013, The Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns faced Randy Orton, Sheamus, and The Big Show in a six-man tag team match. The Shield secured a victory when Ambrose pinned Orton after a spear by Reigns. WWE later that year, on November 4th, 2013, during an episode of WWE Raw, The Big Show was rehired and immediately placed in a 4-on-1 handicap match against WWE Champion Randy Orton and The Shield. Despite being outnumbered, Big Show fought back valiantly, even delivering a double suplex to Rollins and Ambrose. However, the match ended in a disqualification when Kane, now in a suit and tie, handed chairs to Orton and The Shield. They used the chairs to assault Big Show, culminating in a triple powerbomb through the commentary table. WWE. These encounters highlighted Big Show's resilience and the growing dominance of The Shield during that period. At WrestleMania 31, on March 29, 2015, Big Show entered the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, determined to dominate. From the opening bell, he used his overwhelming size to control the ring, tossing mid-card competitors over the top rope with ease, and clearing paths to assert his presence. His strategy was methodical, targeting key opponents while minimizing his exposure to group attacks. He absorbed occasional strikes from faster competitors, shrugging off attempts to eliminate him. The match's climax saw Damien Mizdow, surprisingly resilient, square off against Big Show after most other competitors had been eliminated. Both men traded heavy blows, Mizdow using agility and clever maneuvers to stay in the ring while Big Show relied on raw power. In a decisive moment, Big Show caught Mizdow midair during an attempted springboard attack and launched him over the top rope. The crowd erupted as Big Show stood alone in the ring, victorious, lifting the Andre the Giant trophy to a thunderous ovation. This win reinforced his status as a dominant force in WWE even in the later stages of his career. By 2017, Big Show had embarked on a feud with Braun Strowman that tested both giants' limits. On the March 6 episode of Raw, the two clashed in a powerhouse encounter. Big Show used his experience to control early exchanges, landing massive punches and corner splashes. Strowman, however, displayed unrelenting power and resilience, absorbing Big Show's attacks and retaliating with equally devastating force. The match reached a shocking peak when Strowman executed a monumental power slam, sending Big Show crashing through the ring in an unforgettable moment that emphasized the sheer size and dominance of both competitors. The aftermath left fans stunned, and the segment was replayed multiple times as a highlight of WWE's evolution of big man storytelling. Across these years, Big Show's journey showcased a career defined by resilience, strength, and a willingness to put everything on the line for memorable moments. From championship clashes with Mark Henry to intense rivalries with Randy Orton, high-stakes encounters with The Shield, his dominant performance at WrestleMania 31's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and unforgettable matches with Braun Strowman, Big Show consistently left his mark on WWE history. Every match demonstrated his ability to combine raw power with storytelling, elevating opponents while delivering performances fans would never forget. Ultimately, after decades of commanding the ring and entertaining millions, Big Show brought his in-ring career to a close. His journey spanned years of legendary battles, unforgettable moments, and championship triumphs, and he retired from WWE, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most iconic and physically dominant superstars in the history of professional wrestling. It's ready to use exactly as is. After departing WWE in 2021, Paul White embarked on a new chapter in professional wrestling by joining All Elite Wrestling, AEW. He made his AEW debut on the March 3rd, 2021 episode of Dynamite, where he signed a contract and announced himself as a commentator for AEW's new show, AEW Dark Elevation. White's in-ring debut occurred later that year at AEW All Out on September 5th, 2021, where he faced QT Marshall in a match that received mixed reactions from fans and analysts. While the match was not a high-profile bout, it showcased White's enduring presence and ability to engage the audience. White participated in key matches that highlighted his strategic wrestling intelligence. He faced opponents like Peter Avalon and Brian Cage, demonstrating his versatility and ability to adapt to different wrestling styles. These matches emphasized his experience and timing, reinforcing his status as a formidable competitor. While AEW offered a fresh arena for White's talents, it was his legacy outside the ring that reinforced the breadth of his career. Over the years, he had cultivated a unique presence in television and film, bringing his wrestling persona into mainstream entertainment. White appeared in movies such as Jingle All the Way, where his towering stature and comedic timing created memorable sequences alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger. In The Waterboy, he delivered physical comedy and exaggerated reactions that showcased his ability to blend humor with his imposing size. Knucklehead offered similar opportunities, allowing him to explore comedic acting while still capitalizing on his larger-than-life persona. These roles demonstrated that his appeal extended far beyond wrestling, highlighting his versatility as an entertainer and his understanding of timing, performance, and audience engagement. Television became another significant outlet for White. The Big Show on Netflix gave fans a rare glimpse into his personality outside of professional wrestling. The show combined family dynamics, humor, and wrestling references, allowing White to explore comedic storytelling while retaining elements of his in-ring identity. Through this series, he balanced exaggerated comedy with genuine warmth, showing audiences that the performer behind the giant was also relatable, charismatic, and capable of nuanced acting. These ventures allowed him to bridge the worlds of wrestling and mainstream entertainment, broadening his influence and showcasing his adaptability. Despite his numerous achievements, White's career was not without struggle. The physical toll of decades in the ring manifested in multiple knee, hip, and back surgeries, requiring careful management in every match. Maintaining weight and overall health was an ongoing challenge, particularly given his enormous size and the demands of high-impact performance. Yet, even with these hurdles, White continued to perform at a high level, demonstrating resilience and dedication that underscored his legendary status. His personal life remained a source of stability throughout the intense pressures of professional wrestling. While White had achieved nearly every possible accolade, multiple championships across WWE, Grand Slam victories, and decades of memorable matches, the one honor that remained elusive was induction into the WWE Hall of Fame. Fans and analysts frequently debated his absence, citing his longevity, influence, and contributions to the industry as undeniable reasons for recognition. Yet, even without formal induction, his legacy is firmly established through the countless matches, storylines, and moments that have defined modern professional wrestling. Looking back, White's career spans the full spectrum of professional entertainment, from his debut in WWE through decades of marquee pay-per-view matches, championship reigns, and intense rivalries, to his reinvention in AEW and ventures in film and television. He has continually demonstrated versatility, resilience, and showmanship. His ability to blend comedy, drama, and raw physicality has made him a singular figure in sports entertainment. Whether delivering devastating chokeslams, mentoring rising stars, or connecting with audiences through media projects, White has consistently left a lasting impact.